was, you know, that kind of thing. Then on the zooarch side, as I said, I'll show you some reference. You're noticing skulls all over the place. The hardest things to put away. But
I have that problem sometimes at home, Tom.
to give you an idea, this is just another battery of materials. These are mustelids. So the common mustelids in the area.
Come over here.
And possible, I also run in this lab here, your sort of possibly, these are weasels. Things that they shouldn't be here, but just in case. So we go from the wolverine down to, we're in badgers, and further down we'll probably have minks, fishers, otters. So I run the sort of battery in that manner. So that's just the mustelids in the localized area of mustelids. I have rodents, carnivores, so bears, dogs.
Oh, so it's dogs and cats. From that
dogs
time.
and cats.
Those are also cats, or those are?
No, those are real. You're looking at. In this lab, I have to comply to U.S. Fish and Wildlife, so everything here goes through the process on that. All right, here we have a bobcat. You will not see many bobcat in the area, so which has always been a big surprise to me. But I think the one verified find that I can tell you would be in Fort Shantok area, Connecticut, on the coast. But that would be in a contact period site.
Touch.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So this is
That's
not
real. That's the real deal. And then I also, for Fish and Wildlife, sometimes handle some of their cases, and I go on what's called a long-term loan. So we do a few endangered-like species, or species we're interested in making sure are there. One of the big surprises through up and down the Hudson is the absence of mountain lion, which is supposed to be a universal cat, but we don't see him within the prehistoric period, and certainly not in the Euro-American. So cats, do I guess they colonize that. Fish. So I've been wanting to process more and more of that. But within Mid-Hudson, where I've been working for the last 8 years, you don't get a lot of fish, which is another surprise, being that it's the confluence of the Wallkill and the Hudson. But not even many sturgeon scoots. Behind you there is a bird battery I've got from skulls of common birds that we'll see. Chickens, things like that. But let's get a nice one out for you. Here's some geese. So just some skulls of that.
So when you found the heron, did you find the skull with it?
No, I just probably a long bone fragment, if I recall, on there. So this helps me then, if I'm identifying bird material, to get it down to families, if not species, and then I can actually run to the American Museum. But I want to limit my search. So this is sort of the first batter. As I built this now, I can handle about 95 to 98% of my problems on there. It's the real interesting ones that I hold aside and try to sort of resolve on there. We had one interesting case I put to the side for you. There's been an argument in the Hudson Valley whether we actually had elk. And I'm just looking for these are deer.
What do you mean, had them ever?
There's been a debate with a number of mammalogists. How far do we get elk, and when do they appear, and when do they disappear?
They're up in the Catskills.
They're on the western side of Catskill, but not down near
Delaware County. There's a rock where they shot the last elk.
This is an elk. This one appeared not too far from New Paltz. This is an ankle bone and astragalus. The reason you're seeing a nice big round hole is I made that for radiocarbon dating. This is a prehistoric elk, and unfortunately we didn't have enough bone collagen to get a date, which was like, after putting a hole like that into it, hoping to get a date out of that one. However, that's one of the first confirmed ones that I've seen, where I matched this against, and also had another guy look at it and saying, yeah, we've got elk and not white-tailed deer here, but as low as New Paltz area. So that was the big find there in the site. But you don't see elk quite frequently down the Hudson in the archaeological period. And this is also from the same site, but that's white-tailed deer. That type of thing. So, handling one problem for the prehistorians. So we just put that one back up on there. So when I get a collection, and I often get this kind of problem. This is a prehistoric site from mid-Hudson, and this is how I get them shipped. This is one site. These number of boxes, which will take me a year or more to go through, in the identification of things. Let's see what fun stuff may be here.
This is from where?
This is the Staubly site, a colleague up in New Paltz, Joe Diamond, is looking at. And this is in mid-Hudson. So let's see what he sent me here. I have no... This is the other fun thing. It's like Christmas. You never know what you get. They send it through. Oh, that's a bear. That's a bear mandible, and we're looking at the right side. It's like have wine collection. After you drink enough of the same wine.
I mean, it's incredible.
So is his teeth?
Those are his teeth. So these are back molars. Okay.
Well, it looks over there.
And yeah, that's actually good news for me. But, oh, good. Because then one of the things I'm going to request out of something like that is after I sort of photograph the hell out of it.
Dental records.
Yeah, but I actually want to section that and start to see what seasonality of death. Just like trees, any mammal species or even bird species do have incremental growth in rings. And on teeth, when you look at the tooth root structure like that, you slice through it, and we can tell you a seasonal indicator. And in some species, not bears, but dogs usually give you, if you can get the canine, a very clean age of death by counting how many rings out from the dental pulp on that. It's just a pain in the ass process of encapsulating that in plastic and then sawing it on an extremely fine saw, which is called a thin tissue saw. And then we sit down and play with the microscopes on that.
So this stuff comes to you. What was someone dug this up? They were doing a study on the area.
They were doing an excavation on a prehistoric site. Just want to see what that's a root edge to it. That's a prehistoric site. Probably what they want to say, I think on this side we're probably looking at middle woodland 2,000–3,000 years ago on that type of thing. So to probably just a contact, which would be 1,500 on there. So his interest here